Welcome to Breakup Cheater, where the shadows tell stories, and the truths you dare not speak come to life. Here we explore the chilling, the unsettling, and the unforgettable real-life horrors, betrayals, and secrets that linger long after the story ends. Are you ready to step into the darkness? We like to think we know the people closest to us, the ones we love, the ones we trust. We believe in the quiet routines, the familiar smiles, the small gestures that make a house a home. But what happens when those smiles hide secrets? When trust, the very foundation of a relationship, is quietly chipped away by betrayal. Tonight we tell the story of Ryan and Cassandra, a marriage that seemed perfect from the outside, but behind closed doors, deception was simmering. A spa day that wasn't what it seemed. Late nights that weren't about work. A glow that masked a dangerous secret. And a husband who, after weeks of doubt, uncovered the truth that would shatter everything he thought he knew. This is a story of betrayal, heartbreak, and the devastating consequences of secrets. The chilling reminder that the truth always finds a way to surface. The faint, sweet aroma of chamomile and vanilla lingered in the air, clinging to every surface of the apartment. It was the kind of scent that promised relaxation, rejuvenation, and a little bit of indulgence. Cassandra had been talking about this wellness retreat for weeks, gushing about it with a fervor I couldn't quite understand. But now, as she glided past me in the kitchen, humming softly to herself, I noticed the difference immediately. There was a radiance about her, a warmth, a subtle fire that hadn't been there in months. Her cheeks were flushed, her eyes shimmering with a light I hadn't seen in years, an almost dangerous vitality. It was as if she had plugged herself into a secret source of energy, a power I both admired and feared. How was it? I asked, my voice steady, deliberately neutral, trying not to betray the churning anxiety knotting my stomach. She spun lightly on her heel, the movement effortless, almost choreographed. It was heavenly, she said, voice alive with excitement, a little mischievous sparkle in her tone. Absolutely incredible, Ryan. You would not believe the facial massage. They practically turned back the clock 10 years. She tossed her purse onto the counter with casual ease, like she'd done it 1,000 times. You have to try it sometime. I met her gaze, searching for a hint of deceit, but she smiled too readily, too confidently. My stomach clenched as suspicion settled in like a shadow I couldn't shake. Could it really have been just a spa visit? Or was this glow something deeper? Something I wasn't ready to confront. Those quiet, late nights she'd spent away. The hushed phone calls she would answer just out of my earshot. The way she tensed whenever I touched her. I had tried to ignore the signs, convince myself it was nothing, but denial was no longer an option. So I had done what I had to do. The private investigator's report landed like a punch to the gut. Dates, times, photographs, all of it meticulously documented. The man wasn't anyone I knew, just a younger guy she'd met at the gym, the kind of person who made her feel alive again. Alive in a way that had nothing to do with me. I spent the past few days rehearsing my response, carefully molding my anger into something precise, controlled and sharp. I wasn't going to yell, I wasn't going to plead. I wanted her to see, to feel, the sting of betrayal reflected back at her. I'm glad you enjoyed yourself, I said, forcing a tight smile that felt more like a grimace. I made dinner tonight. She paused, genuinely caught off guard. Usually, she was the one calling takeout, scrolling through her phone while I cooked. That's thoughtful, she said, voice a little too sweet, the words hanging on her lips like they might crack. What did you make? I gestured to the dining room. The table was set meticulously. Polished silver, our best china, candles flickering softly, and her favorite lilies in the center. The entire scene had been curated to look warm, welcoming, almost forgiving. Her eyes widened, a brief flicker of awe crossing her face. Ryan, this is beautiful, she murmured, softening for just a moment, almost apologetic. For a moment, I almost believed her, I thought. Come sit. I pulled out her chair. She took her seat, a mixture of curiosity and apprehension etched across her face. The centerpiece of the table gleamed under the candlelight, waiting. I made something special, just for you, I said carefully, savoring each word. I lifted the silver cloche, revealing not a gourmet meal, but the neatly arranged private investigator's report. Photographs sprawled across the platter. Her with him in various embraces, the grotesque collage of betrayal laid bare. Her face drained of color as she stared. Her breath hitched shallow, rapid. A manicured hand flew to her mouth. What is this?" she whispered, voice trembling. "It's a summary of your little retreat, Cassandra," I said evenly, deliberately cold. "Or should I say your gym sessions? You know. The ones where you apparently felt rejuvenated." Her knees buckled. She collapsed to the floor, eyes wide with terror, reaching toward me as if I could shield her from what she knew was inevitable. "Ryan, please, it's not what it looks like," she begged, her voice cracking, raw and desperate. "You don't understand." "Oh, I understand perfectly," I said, tone icy, every word precise. "I understand that you've been lying for months, sneaking around behind my back while I worked my fingers to the bone to support us. I understand that the life I thought we shared was a complete illusion." Tears streaked her face, black mascara trailing like ink. She looked broken, small, pathetic, crawling toward me as if proximity could absolve her sins. "I'm so sorry, Ryan. I don't know what I was thinking. Please forgive me," she pleaded, voice ragged, desperate. I stood, towering over her, the words I had rehearsed for days falling effortlessly from my lips. Almost clinical. "Forgive you," I echoed, voice dripping with disdain. "You think an apology erases months of deception? That saying, sorry, will magically restore everything you destroyed? This isn't a storybook, Cassandra. This is life. And you've ruined ours." I moved to the living room, lifted a file from the coffee table, and held it aloft. "I've already spoken to my attorney," I said, voice unwavering. "Divorce papers will be filed tomorrow. You'll be served. I want you out of this house by the end of the week. I've even packed some of your things already." Her sobs escalated, transforming into a wailing tempest. Her red, swollen eyes sought me desperately. Where will I go?" she cried. "That's no longer my concern," I said, turning away. "It should have been before you chose betrayal." I walked into the kitchen, poured a generous glass of whiskey, and drank deeply, the burn grounding me. From the archway, I watched her slump against the floor, sobbing uncontrollably. For a fleeting moment, a strange emptiness filled me, a hollow calm replacing what should have been pain or rage. It was victory. A bitter, hollow victory, but victory nonetheless. Cassandra had walked in glowing, alive with some secret she thought I'd never uncover. Now her world was crumbling, and there was no one to blame but herself. I drained the glass, set it down, and headed toward the bedroom. I didn't look back. Her cries echoed through the apartment, but I didn't hear them. The door closed behind me, the sound of her anguish marking the final remnants of our marriage. Betrayal leaves scars that time cannot heal. It's not just the lies or the stolen moments or the trust broken in silence. It's the emptiness that lingers afterward. The cold clarity that comes when we realize someone we loved, someone we trusted, was never truly who we thought they were. Ryan thought he would feel anger, rage, maybe even grief. But after the confrontation, all that remained was a hollow victory, a reminder that some betrayals leave nothing behind but echoes. Echoes of what once was. If you want more stories of suspense, betrayal, and shocking truths, subscribe and hit the bell. Because some secrets are too dangerous to ignore. Thank you for stepping into the shadows with us tonight. If you crave more stories of suspense, betrayal, and the unexplained, subscribe to Blood Moon Broadcast and hit the bell so you never miss a story. Remember, some secrets are never meant to be uncovered, but we uncover them anyway.